Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, what it is for you. Welcome back to a Division 2 video. We're back on the PTS testing some more weapons and gear, and today we're going over the new exotic shotgun, the Fafnir. It has a pretty interesting talent and it's pretty darn powerful as it's an exotic M870, so you can just 1, 2, 3 tap almost everyone in the game. If you liked the video or helped you out in any way or form, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. I will love to have you in the community. But without further ado, let's jump right over and see what this exotic shotgun can do for us. This exotic shotgun has 703.7k base damage and then on the build 2.1 million total damage. RPM of 75, a mag of 10, headshot damage of 65% and an optimal range of 11. For all of the testing, I rolled 30% expertise on there. For the core attributes, it will always be shotgun damage and damage to armor. And for our third attribute, I chose to go for damage to target out of cover to of course get the most damage out of this weapon. The accuracy and the stability is what you would expect from a shotgun, but the reload time is horrendous with the 5.34 seconds. And this is of course because if we compare it to its normal weapon, the M870, we have a difference in 5 bullets in the mag. And that's why we see the reload time almost doubled, as we also have doubled the magazine size. And then of course the most important part of an exotic, the talent itself, Dragon's Breath. This weapon fires Dragon's Breath shells. Each shot has a 10% chance of applying burn to the enemy. An enemy cannot be applied burn if they are burning already. Weapon damage is amplified by 30% of your stage effect bonuses, and that is quite of an interesting addition to it, but let's go over the mods real quick first, and then let's deep dive the talent. For the mods, we see 15% critical hit chance, an extra 5 rounds, and 10% weapon handling, what will help this exotic shotgun out, especially that 15% crit chance. But now let's get back to the Dragon's Breath talent. Each shot has a 10% chance of applying burn to the enemy, what is quite interesting when you're running around. In my humble opinion, that 10% is a little bit too low, as I am seeing this weapon more as a support weapon than doing full damage. Especially if you want to stack a little bit more into status effects, and that is quite of an interesting addition to this weapon. Weapon damage is amplified by 30% of your status effect bonuses. So meaning for every 10% status effect you will get 3% amplified damage. To test it out, let's jump over to the shooting range and let's use the same build. We have a 4-piece Hunter's Fury, 2-piece Cheska, as in Season 3 the 2-piece Cheska will give us 24% shotgun damage. We went for Intimidate on our chest piece to go for Adrenaline Rush on our backpack. We can change all the attributes around on Hunter's Fury, so let's go to basics and roll blues on here. This is a full setup of 4 pieces of armor regeneration, so the weapon won't get boosted by critical hit damage or even status effects. When we start shooting with this, we see that the base is around at 1.2 million crits per pellet. Now, if we change all of these armor generation rules around for status effects, giving us that extra 40% status effects, what will give us around that 12% amplification damage, you see that we're already doing more, as a little over 1.3 million crits per pellet. And that's quite of an interesting mechanic, working into status effects to do more damage with your weapon. And then of course, the more status effect you have, the longer the burn will be applied when you apply that burn with that first part of the Dragon's Breath talent. But if we go back to the base and add that 48% critical hit damage back again, we're hitting over 1.5 million crits per pellet. And that is close to 200k crits per pellet more than if we roll status effects on there. Don't get me wrong, not every edition needs to be the strongest in the game, not every edition needs to be the meta, but 200k crits per pellet, meaning in a perfect world, 8 shots per pellet, 1.6 million crit less damage than when you roll status effects. I don't know if that is worth the trade-off. Especially because you only have a 10% chance of applying that burn. As for example, if the chance of you applying burn to an enemy would be higher, for example per pellet and not per shot, it would be worth the trade-off. Yes, you will still do a little less damage, but the chance of the enemy shooting back at you will be less, as there is a higher chance of them catching on fire. It is a very interesting weapon, and this is gonna sound weird, is that it is an M870. It is too powerful to give you an opportunity to make it into a support weapon, what it kinda wants to be, by building into status effects and giving you that chance to apply burn. But if we're looking, of course, at the fan favorite Scorpio, this will always apply a status effect. You will just have to shoot and apply a bunch of different statuses and or even some extra amplified damage build up on that enemy. Of course, the Scorpio does a lot less damage, but in that way it can be seen and it is loved as a support shotgun. This wants to be a support shotgun, but is kind of too strong to be a support shotgun. So I wanna love the gun, I wanna love the Dragon Breath edition, I wanna see it and use it as a support shotgun, but it just gets overshadowed by the damage from other setups and or even the normal M870. As if we jump back to the shooting range, roll everything back to critical hit damages, get killer on the M870, we're doing 2 million crits per pellet, where we're doing 1.3-ish million crits per pellet when we are on the Fafnir with 40% status effects rolled. And that is a 650 crit difference per pellet. In a perfect world, if everything crits and everything hits, that is a difference of 5.2 million by just shooting once. And because of the Dragon's Breath burn not applying as much, I don't think it's worth the trade-off as it's now on the PTS. Don't forget, there's still things subject to change, that's why we're testing it out, so let's give some feedback to the devs and see if they can change it a little bit before Season 3 is here. And that is of course my opinion about it. Let me know yours in the comments down below. I would love to hear your opinion. But that's it for me today. Thank you very much for sticking it till the end. Like the video if you liked the video or helped you out in any way or form. If you're new here and or you want to be updated by the Division 2, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. And I will see you in the next one. Pure Prime out.